Hello everybody. Today we are going to be studying about preliminary chapter of the corporate law of CA Intermediate module 1. So, as you all know that this chapter is divided into three sections, that is short title, extent and commencement, application and definitions. So this is basically the very first chapter of the Companies Act 2013 and it covers basically all the basic details about the Companies Act 2013. So the introduction starts by the Companies Act 2013 is an act to consolidate and amend the law relating to companies. The legislation was necessitated to meet changes in the national and international economic environment and for expansion and growth of economy of our country. So basically this chapter is detailing about the Companies Act 2013 and why it was consolidated and amended. That means it was already in force, but there were some many of the changes that were done in 2013 and relating to the companies, and it was basically because of the national and international economic environment that was like coming in among like various changes that were happening, the expansion and growth of economy that was happening at the time. So because of that, the Companies Act 2013 came into force and it was just like consolidated. The Companies Act 2013 received the assent. Assent means the express approval of the Honorable President of India on 29th August 2013 and was notified in the official gazette on 30th August 2013 for public information, stating that different dates may be appointed for enforcement of different provisions of the Companies Act 2013 to notifications. So basically it is saying that the Companies Act 2013, when it came into force, so basically it received the like express approval, that means assent of the Honorable President. You must all be aware about the formation of the bill, and that is what it is talking about, because the President's approval is obviously needed for the passing of any bill, and it is talking about that only. So it received on 29th August 2013 and then it got notified in the official gazette. Official gazette is basically the official newspaper of any country, and it got published on 30th August 2013 for public information, stating that different dates may be appointed for enforcement of different sections or provision which will be coming into the Companies Act 2013 in the future through notifications. Obviously it will be like, obviously it will every time be notified in the official gazette on the specified date. Now when it received the SN and it got like notified in the official gazette, then the section 1 came into force on 30th August 2013. 98 sections further then came into force on 12th September 2013. 143 sections were enforced from 1st April 2014 and so on. So this is how through notifications further sections came into being for Companies Act 2013. The Companies Act 2013 is rule-based legislation with 470 sections and 7 schedules. The Companies Act is a rule-based legislation. Means rule-based means whenever further any kind of changes or like amendment will be needed in the provisions, in the sections or in the clauses of the Companies Act, the central government can like by notification release the rules for wherever the changes have been done, so that people can be able to know about what are the changes of the act and how it will be able to impact on further like the companies, like whatever the corporate governance and whatever thing will be getting affected. So each chapter has like one set of rules, and the Companies Act has 29 chapters. The Companies Act 2013 aims to improve corporate governance. Corporate means company and governance means government, and basically by government we mean by the direction and control of somebody, that is a system. So corporate governance means the system by which like companies are like directed and controlled. So for that and for simplifying the regulations for the companies and strengthening the interest of investors, so that not only to attract only the like indigenous investors but also the foreign investors, so that the FDI flow can come to India. Thus, this enactments makes the corporate regulations more contemporary. More contemporary means like when at the same time, that means whatever the regulations may be, they can like coexist at the same time, and it can like simplify many things at once. So this was about the introduction for the chapter. We are going to be shifting about the section 1 for the Companies Act 2013, and that states short title, extent and commencement and application. So basically this Companies Act 2013 deals with the extent of the applicability of the act. This section 1, and it is applicable to whole of India, and it has a short title which I have already repeated again and again, the Companies Act 2013. Its commencement means when it came into being, when it came into force. So as already we have discussed in the introduction, it like got notified in the official gazette on 30th August 2013, and section 1 came into being on that particular date. So that specifies that was the commencement of this section, and its application is given in these 6 points, which states that the section furthermore states of the applicability of the act, the provisions of this act shall apply to: first, companies incorporated under this act or under any previous company law, insurance companies, except insofar as the said provisions are inconsistent with the provisions of the Insurance Act 1938 or the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority Act 1999. Next is the banking companies, except insofar as the said provisions are inconsistent with the banking provisions, Banking Regulation Act 1949. Companies engaged in the generation or supply of electricity, except insofar as the said provisions of the inconsistent with the provisions of the Electricity Act 2013. Any other company governed by any special act or the time being in force, such body corporate incorporated by any act for the time being in force as the central government may by notification specify on this behalf. So to make it simplify for you, any companies which have been incorporated or are incorporating, all the insurance companies, all the banking companies, all the companies which are in the business of generation and supply of electricity, and any other companies which are having their own special acts and which are not mentioned here, all the companies here, and any other body corporate or company which are incorporating under this act and they are like specifically mentioned, notified by the central government that they will be following this act, covers the all the provision and sections they are incorporated under this act. So to clarify for you, I'm going to read out the example number 2 for you. So ABC Limited was incorporated on 1st January 1972 under the Companies Act 1956. So the Companies Act 2013 shall also be applicable on ABC Limited. So now we come to the section number 2 of the Companies Act 2013, which is the definition section, and it provides various terminologies that are used in the act. For example, in this chapter they have listed just a few of the definitions, but we are going to be like just for the reading part because they are not for the memorization, because they have their very lengthy meanings in the respective chapters, which we are going to be covering in the upcoming videos. So basically it is also known as the definitional section or clauses, which are basically very much clarified with the word internal aids to construction. Internal aids to construction basically means when we are reading the act, we have to make out an interpretation of what are the what the word means and everything. So according to the act maker, so these definitions help us in whenever the act was made, what are the definitions or what was the meaning assigned to them at that point of time. So they really help us in the reader in like calculating the interpretation of the words, so which can be of immense help in interpreting or construing the enactment or any of its parts. So now we are going to be like reading out some of the definitions that are covered in the chapter, and nothing of that sort is more important in this preliminary chapter. So full definition is: abridged prospectus means a memorandum containing such salient features of a prospectus as may be specified by the Securities and Exchange Board by making regulations in this behalf. Accounting standards, they means the standards of accounting or any addendum thereto for companies or class of companies. Therefore, in section 133, they have their whole chapter in detail, every kind of accounting treatment that has been given to like cash flow statements, depreciation, government grants and disclosures and everything they have. You must have read all in accounts. So that is there. Alter and alteration includes the making of additions, omissions and substitutions. Articles means the articles of association of a company, whether it is original or it has been altered from time to time. Then we have the associate companies. Then we have the auditing standards. Then we have the authorized capital, nominal capital. And one more thing, all the definitions you must be seeing that they are given in the alphabetical order, plus whatever the number you are seeing in these brackets, they are the clauses. They are basically the parts of the section, and what we are reading is the section number 2, definitional section. Next is we will read it out as like section number 2, clause 11, body corporate or corporation. Section number 2, clause 12, book and paper and book or paper. Clause number 13, it's books of accounts, branch office, calls of capital, charge, chartered accountant, chief executive officer, chief financial officer, company limited by guarantee, company limited by shares, contributory. Then there are some like explanations, as I told you that it is a definitional section, and all the like internal aids to construction are given in this section only, so that will help us in clarifying more about the meaning of the contributory that it is assigned to it. Next is the control, then the debenture, director, dividend, document, employee stock option, export, then the financial statements and what does it include and what are the exemptions, then the financial year, then the example is given, the free reserves, the government company, holding company. Please do read the example that is given here again to understand more about the meaning of the government company. the holding company, issued capital, key managerial person, listed company, manager, managing director, explanation, again the provisos and everything that is given here, member, memorandum, net worth, notification, officer who is in default. Example, one person company, ordinary or special resolution, paid up share capital paid up, postal ballot prescribed, and this is how all the definitions goes on. It is totally based upon your choice if you want to learn them, but I'm again saying all the definitions have been covered up in the previous chapter in their own respective areas, so do not panic about it. They are just for reading and not for memorization. As long as you understand the concept, you are good to go. Basically, I have also made some summary points for you all, and I would like to read it out for you so that it becomes really easy to grasp the whole chapter. So it is here: the Companies Act 2013 received the assent of the Honorable President of India on 29th August 2013 and was notified in the official gazette on 30th August 2013 for public information. Second point, different dates may be appointed for enforcement of different provisions of the Companies Act 2013 through notifications, and this is the numerical part which we have to really read it out. Then the Companies Act 2013 is basically the rule-based legislation which has 470 sections and 7 schedules. The entire act is divided into 29 chapters, and each chapter within has one set of rules. So the aim of this act is basically to improve the corporate governance, simplify regulations, and strengthen the interest of investors for the companies. Then we read about the section number 1, which was about short title Companies Act 2013, extent whole of India, commencement. Section 1 came into force at once, and the remaining provisions on different dates through notification. Then we have the application of the Companies Act 2013, that is the banking companies, insurance companies, particular companies, companies with specified act, companies who produce and supply electricity, then entities as notified by the central government. Then we have section number 2, which was the already definitional section, our clauses which were also specified as internal aids to construction. And here is a star point for all of you, that when a word or phrase is defined as having a particular meaning in the enactment, it is that meaning alone which must be given to it while interpreting a section of the act, unless there may be anything repugnant in the context. So basically it is saying that whatever the meaning that has been given in this section for a particular definition for a particular word, that will be the meaning of that word will be carried on throughout the act, until and unless in the same act by any context anything is given against of it, anything repugnant, not in compatibility with whatever the original was given. So clauses under section 2 are in this act unless the context otherwise requires. We read about various clauses in here. So guys, this is it for the video, and for this part of the chapter, this is totally complete, the preliminary chapter, and I will see you in my next video. Do prepare for your exams very well, and I wish you all the best. So goodbye. I will miss you in my next video.